Okay, let's unpack this. I want you to imagine a kind of strange, but, well, a very relatable scenario.
I'm listening.
Imagine you have this high-tech, super expensive car, but for the last, say, 10 or 15 years, you've been putting just a little bit of molasses in the gas tank every single week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The car still runs, but that fuel line is just slowly gumming up. Then one day you hit the gas and the engine just sighs and gives up.
And that's sigh.
Yeah.
That's the diagnosis.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the moment most people finally get told they have prediabetes or type 2. But we're going to dive into the 15 to 20-year silent crisis that leads up to that moment. We're talking about insulin resistance, the molecular gunk that's blocking the entire system.
And what's so fascinating is that insulin resistance at its core, it's just a communication breakdown.
The communication breakdown.
Yeah. You need fuel glucose to get into your cells to make energy. But the signal that opens the door, which is insulin, it's being blocked.
Yeah.
The conventional wisdom usually points to, the four horsemen of modern life.
Right. Sedentary lifestyle, obesity, genetics.
Or just eating too many calories. But if we stop there, we are missing the absolute elephant in the room.
Because those are symptoms.
They're symptoms. They are not the primary cause of the actual cellular blockage that we see in the earliest stages.
So to really get this, we have to look at the battlefield. You've got the cell, you've got the mitochondria inside, that's your little energy factory, and then the cell membrane.
Which is this crucial fatty barrier.
And that's where the trouble really starts brewing, with an ingredient that is, it's absolutely everywhere.
It is.
But first, we have to address the obvious villain, right? Refined sugar.
Of course.
Yes. Chronic consumption of sugar, especially fructose, is a huge contributor. It's constantly spiking your blood glucose, so insulin has to rush in and clear the highway.
And eventually the receptors just get exhausted. They get tired.
But the real kicker, the thing that's physically blocking those tired receptors, that's where it gets interesting.
That is the molecular agent that's gumming up the works. We're talking about a certain category of industrialized seed oils.
Seed oils, okay.
These are fats that the body tries to use in its cell membranes, which is a normal process, but because of how they're processed, they don't arrive as healthy fats, they arrive as fragments.
Fragments.
Think of it like a molecular superglue. They literally get lodged in the insulin receptor, blocking the communication line. It prevents your cells from ever hearing the signal to take in fuel.
Okay, so let's be specific about those fats, because you hear about healthy unsaturated fats all the time.
Right, and high-quality cold-pressed ones can be fine. But that is not what 99% of the public is eating.
We're talking corn oil, soy, canola, safflower, sunflower, the big plastic jugs at the supermarket.
And the processing is, well, it's genuinely alarming. These oils are refined, they're bleached.
Wait, bleached? Like with actual bleach? I always thought that was just a dramatic rumor.
It's part of the industrial process, using chemical bleaching agents to strip the color and smell. And then they're deodorized to mask the fact that they're already rancid.
That's unsettling.
But here's the biggest problem. All of this happens at extreme heat. We're talking about treating these incredibly fragile fats at temperatures up to 527 degrees Fahrenheit.
527 degrees. That is hotter than my oven on its self-cleaning cycle. How is that even allowed?
Because the goal isn't health. It's shelf stability and mass production. And that intense heat, combined with the chemicals, it generates these toxic fragments. They're called aldehydes.
Aldehydes, that's the superglue.
That's the molecular superglue.
Yeah.
Aldehydes are highly reactive. They cause irreversible damage by essentially locking up proteins, jamming the insulin receptor, and critically destroying the machinery inside the mitochondria.
So it's a direct hit on your communication and your energy production.
It's an immediate, irreparable block.
And here's the statistic that should just make you drop your coffee mug. The average person is now consuming over 25%, a quarter to a third, of their total daily calories from these processed seed oils.
We've built an entire food system around them. And here's the really insidious part.
Oh, there's more.
You don't just eat the aldehydes. When those oil fragments get into your cell membranes, they can also generate new aldehydes inside your body when they're exposed to just normal inflammation.
So your own cells start manufacturing their own little destructive agents.
Exactly. Your body is creating the problem internally.
Which brings us to the great restaurant comedy/drama.
Ah, yes. The deep fryer.
You go out, you order anything deep fried. They're using the cheapest possible seed oil, right? It's a business.
Of course.
And how often do you think they change that oil?
I'm almost afraid to hear the answer.
There are basically no regulations on it, which means they often reuse that oil for weeks, Weeks and
Oh,
weeks.
this is just...
Imagine that hot, sticky, aldehyde-filled sludge just being reheated over and over. Every single time, it's creating more of that molecular superglue that ends up coating your meal. It is a metabolic disaster on a plate.
It really is. And while all this damage is happening silently, your body tries to fix it. The pancreas is determined to get that fuel into the cells, so it overcompensates
By doing what?
by dumping massive amounts of insulin into your system. A flood. This is why you can go to the doctor for years and get perfectly normal blood glucose readings.
Because your body is just running on dangerously high insulin octane to compensate.
Precisely. But eventually, the specialized cells that make insulin, the beta cells, they get completely exhausted. They just stop.
Yeah.
And that's when the blood sugar finally spikes, you get the diagnosis.
Let's put the scale of this into context with some really simple math. Your entire blood volume, about 5 liters, can only safely handle about 1 little teaspoon of sugar.
Total. Right, that's your normal healthy blood sugar level.
Right. Now contrast that 1 teaspoon with what the average person consumes in sugar, starch, and hidden oils every day. We're talking over 100 teaspoons of metabolically active stuff.
And when you add in the fact that the seed oils are literally blocking the door, the whole system is just set up for failure.
Which is why modern junk food is so destructive.
It's what I call the deadly trio. You look at almost any ultra-processed food and you will find 3 key ingredients.
Let me guess. Refined sugar.
Yep, refined starch,
Seed oils.
the deadly trio. And we have to emphasize, when you combine starch and oil together and heat them, you create a compounded problem. The damage is scientifically more deadly than eating either one alone.
Okay. That is a lot of horrifying context. We need an action plan. If you want to protect your metabolic health, we need a list. The absolute worst offender.
That's it, list.
The hit list. Okay, first, let's just group the absolute worst, the worst together. Restaurant deep-fried anything, fast food fries, and those frozen breaded foods like nuggets or fish sticks.
The fryer basket trifecta.
Yes. The constant reuse of oil is the key factor. Maximum aldehyde exposure combined with starch. Just avoid the fryer basket when you're eating out.
That's a great rule. What's next?
Next are the silent killers in your own pantry. Commercial salad dressings and mayonnaise.
Yes. It's almost impossible to find one without canola or soy oil.
It really is. It's a huge source of chronic seed oil exposure. It's so much safer to just use extra virgin olive oil and vinegar at home.
Absolutely.
And then the desserts, the worst of the worst, donuts and pastries.
The unholy quadfecta.
The metabolic quadfecta.
No.
You've got sugar, refined starch, seed oil, and it's deep fried.
Yeah.
If you ever have the temptation to eat, say, a dozen donuts at once, and I'm speaking from past experience here, just resist.
Sound advice.
Number 4, packaged snacks. Chips, crisps, and microwave popcorn.
Ah, the deadly trio in its most convenient form.
Exactly. Starch and oil, heated under pressure. People think popcorn is healthy, but if it's in a microwave bag, it is loaded with vegetable oils. Just pop your own corn with butter or coconut oil.
So much better.
Okay, number 5. The ones with the fake health halos. Granola, protein bars, and store-bought cookies.
The branding is so misleading on those.
Totally. Don't fall for it. They're almost always packed with sugar, refined starches, and you guessed it, vegetable oils to hold them together.
And finally,
Sweetened drinks, soda, energy drinks, all the syrups and iced coffee. Be especially wary of high fructose corn syrup or HFCS.
that one is uniquely bad for the liver.
It is. It bypasses certain metabolic checks and causes insulin resistance in your liver much, much faster than regular sugar.
So knowing what to avoid is critical.
Hmm.
But there is some good news. There's an interesting counter strategy for detoxification,
For clearing out that superglue.
for clearing out those damaging aldehydes. The science shows that a specific nutrient called carnosine can significantly help detoxify them and protect your proteins.
Carnosine. Okay, and where do we find that?
And here's the delightful irony that just flips so much mainstream nutrition advice on its head.
Alrighty.
The food that is naturally loaded with carnosine is grass-fed red meat.
You're kidding me. The exact food that is so often discouraged is packed with the very compound you need to clean up the damage from the processed oils they don't talk about.
That's the irony. And beyond that, you can support the process with sulfur-rich vegetables, onions, garlic, broccoli, and polyphenols from things like green tea, dark chocolate, and pomegranate.
So to wrap up our deep dive here, metabolic disease isn't some genetic time bomb that just goes off in your 50s.
No, this starts silently, 15, 20 years earlier.
And it's driven not just by sugar, but by these cheap, highly refined, toxic fats that are literally gumming up our most essential cellular systems. It's a keyhole jam that happens molecule by molecule.
Which leaves you with a pretty important question to think about. If the industrial process that's required to make our most common cooking fats cheap creates fragments that actively block our cells' communication lines, what other seemingly harmless hyperprocessed ingredients are currently acting as a silent molecular superglue inside your body?
That is a question worth taking with you into your pantry the next time you go shopping.